All right. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Joy. I am back again with another video. I hope that you guys are doing well and I hope that you guys are staying safe. So, you guys, I know it's been a super long time since I've done a video with just audio, and I'm super excited to be back doing it again. Again, if you are new, I am a narcissist abuse coach. I've been dealing with narcissists since 2006, and since 2017, I have been helping former victims, now survivors, heal, move on, and recover after dealing with narcissistic abuse. So, today, you guys, I actually wanted to I wanted to comment on a video or reply to a comment that I got on a video. I think it's really important just because, this is actually something that a lot of people deal with, such as myself. Um, so let's look into it. This will be anonymous, but you guys can feel free to go back to it and watch it. But basically, it was from the live that I did where we were talking about not the most recent one, but it was the one before that. We were talking about narcissistic bosses, coworkers, how they hate that you're different and they want to change you, right? So basically, I'll just read the comment. So the person says, just read the title and it's true. I have experienced it and I quit on August the 31st after 3 months. And they said that the work was very physical and I was just dealing with bullying and intimidation from an older Hispanic woman. She says, I'd rather be broke than to deal with a toxic job at this point. And she also left a comment and says she was a coworker, not a manager or a supervisor. She was trying to boss me around and she was very fake. It says that envy and jealousy were easy to spot, and she had the fakest smile that never reached her eyes, super nosy and pretending to be friendly. So I mean, I definitely get that because, again, when it came to the situation, the job that I was working at the time, I definitely, not only did I deal with gang stalking, I dealt with the narcissist, but I also dealt with, bosses that definitely had narcissistic tendencies, bosses that were super cutthroat, right? And definitely dealt with bullying and intimidation. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about that. And I'll share with you guys my particular experience that, what I dealt with at my particular job at that time. And kind of like a little spoiler, you guys know I wrote a book about that as well. I highly recommend getting that book, especially if you are dealing with workplace bullying and intimidation. So let's talk a little bit about workplace bullying, by the way. If you guys don't know what that's all about, let's look into it. So you guys can Google too. So workplace bullying, it just says, is persistent pattern of mistreatment that can cause physical or emotional harm and includes behavior like verbal abuse, humiliation, intimidation, sabotage, and excessive or unfair criticism. It involves abuse of power and can occur between superiors, peers, or subordinates. Examples include public humiliation, yelling, spreading rumors, making unreasonable demands, or possible deadlines. Now, again, let's talk more about it. So, workplace examples of workplace bullying. So, publicly insulting or humiliating someone, yelling, screaming, or using foul language, spreading misinformation or rumors about a coworker, unfairly criticizing an employee's work, stealing credit for another employee's work, excluding someone from work-related social events or information, which did happen to me, all of this actually, setting impossible deadlines and creating undue stress, giving unreasonable or impossible demands, sabotaging an employee's work or projects, and making, the sabotaging, that definitely was a big thing with the big boss lady and, coworkers, right? And making threats or being verbally aggressive. So yeah, so again, signs of workplace bullying, constant, so psychological and emotional, so constant or unfair criticism, intimidation, humiliation, and demeaning behavior. Social, it says being excluded from meetings, opportunities, or social events. Work related unreasonable demands, impossible deadlines, or having work sabotage. Verbal aggressive emails, public insults, yelling, or spreading rumors, and physical threats of violence or physical abuse. So that's workplace bullying for those of you that deal with that. So, just be mindful, right? feel free to share this video with a family member, because maybe, they might be dealing with that situation, and they are scared to say something. They don't want to look silly, or they don't want to feel ashamed, or just afraid, right? They don't want to be feeling any type of way. But just understand that, you deserve to be, protected, and you deserve to get respect at, your place of employment. You deserve to be appreciated and recognized, right? So let's talk also about work intimidation, because the individual did talk about workplace intimidation. So workplace intimidation is a form of harassment that includes threats, verbal abuse, or conduct creating a hostile environment or causing fear. It can manifest such as physical threats, again, yelling, insults, malicious gossip, or subtle tactics like manipulating an employee's schedule or sabotaging their work. um let's see, to deal with remain so and if you're dealing with that, just try to remain calm, prioritize your safety, document instances, and report behavior to a supervisor through official channels like Equal Employment Commission. Now, again, let's talk more about this workplace intimidation, which is similar to workplace bullying too. So again, verbal and psychological harassment, same thing: yelling, screaming, making disparaging, rude, or abusive statements. Physical intimidation, hostile posturing, blocking movements, or other appropriate physical contact. Again, work sabotage, deliberately assigning work outside of your expertise, withholding information, or taking credit for your accomplishments. Threats, coercion, direct threats of violence or physical harm, or using incentives to force an employee's actions. Manipulation, spreading false rumors, constantly changing expectations, or undermining an employee's work. So again, how to handle this workplace intimidation. So basically, you want to, again, prioritize your safety, because if you feel unsafe, leave the area immediately. Contact law enforcement if necessary. Document everything. Keep a detailed record of dates, time, witnesses, and a description of each incident. Speak up if you can. Confront the person calmly if you feel comfortable. If you believe you can resolve the issue, report the behavior. Inform your supervisor or HR department. If you can, also file a formal charge of EEOC if the behavior constitute harassment, discrimination under federal or state laws, but you must do so within strict timing, usually 180 or 300 days. And let's talk about what is not intimidation. So reasonable management action, such as performance reviews, disciplinary action, or directing work, is not considered bully if carried out in a reasonable way. But yeah, so I bring this up because, again, you guys, this is actually something that I experienced firsthand. And I didn't really I talked about it a little bit during the time, because I have dealt with a narcissist before. You guys know my story, dealing with 3 narcissists, a borderline, an individual that had borderline personality was really that got me on this journey. But as far as dealing with someone in the workplace, that was kind of new. But the good thing is, like I said, I had that experience of dealing with a narcissist, so I was able to kind of protect myself, and I knew how to move, and I knew how to handle myself and control myself. When you're dealing with a narcissist, you have to know how to control your emotions, because a lot of the times they want to trigger you to have a reaction so you can do something or say something, because the narcissist wants to get you in trouble, or they want to make it seem like you're the bad guy, or you are the one doing the bullying, or you're the one doing the intimidation, when it's actually them. So in my case, I actually had it was a female narcissist. So it was not only her. So she would spread gossip, she would spread rumors, and she would also have other people do the same. And she would follow me around at work. And so what she would do, it was a lot of physical intimidation. And I talk about this in the book too. You can make sure you get it. She would follow me on my breaks, my lunches, and she would be waiting for me outside of my job. So pretty much trying to physically intimidate me or try to make me scared. This individual was big built type of person. And I am pretty tall myself. I'm a little bit more on the slimmer side. So I'm not really big, like I'm tall, but I'm not like, I'm more on the petite slim side, if that makes sense, right? So this individual was actually big and tall. And so again, I think that this individual had did this to other people in the past, so she felt really comfortable doing it, and I guess she thought that whatever she was going to do at the job was going to work on me. And like I said, she had to get help. She couldn't do it on her own. So, she would have people follow me in the bathroom, follow me in the break rooms, trying to listen in on my conversations and things like that. And another weird thing too, like what the person said on the comments, she said that this person was trying to be around her and, like, I guess be like, have a fake smile and be super nosy. Like, I remember, like, this person, like I said, I never knew this person, which is crazy, but I had seen that individual a couple times at work, and I remember looking at her and thinking, like, I'm like, oh, it's something up with her. Like, I just, like, you know how you can like look at a person and you can, like, yeah, something ain't right. Like, that's how I felt when I had met this individual that was the narcissist, right? And then a couple times, like, I remember once, like, I was outside on my lunch break and I was talking with a coworker, and this individual happened to come up and was just had sat down, and I didn't even say anything to that person then, because I knew, I was like, something is off. And then the person said something. She was like, "How are your calls?" And I was like, "Good." I had like a one word response like that. And then I just kind of got up because I was like, yeah, like something was off. And then there was another time that I was in the break room, and I was talking to an individual, and that person would usually try, like, would follow me around, like, try to take the same breaks as me, just because I guess she was being nosy to try to see what was going on. And yeah, so she would try to pretend like she would be on her phone, like that was her intimidation. Like, she would try to look down on her phone and act like she was on her phone to try to, like, be nosy and hear something, right? To try to be, like, really annoying. And also, there was like another little room that you can go in, like where I used to work at, like, it's like a lounge, and like I would walk through there sometimes, like when I go in my locker to go back to, like, to my work, and she would just be like in the chair, like just waiting, like just sitting in the chair, and she would have her friend doing the same thing and stuff like that. And I remember I heard one say, like, "Oh, she's still here," or something like that. And like, and it was the craziest thing, like, and I had never went through that before, so I didn't really know what to expect. But the good thing is that I knew that God was with me, and so I knew, like, I was good. But it's just crazy, like, the extent that a person can go, like, to try to, like, make you feel afraid, or try to get you to leave or something, or try to make you feel a type of way. Like, you get what I'm saying? And I guess I remember when I had told my boss about what was going on, I guess the individual got mad because she was like waiting, like, because I would take my lunch, right, you guys? I would take my lunch and I would do my thing, and I guess she would get up and try to pretend. I guess she Sorry about that, y'all. So I guess the individual would try to get up and pretend like they were taking their lunch the same time as me, because it's possible that the lunches could have been the same, but it's like, when something's weird. So anyways, so I'm walking back from my lunch, and this person is just like by, like, the little lounge room, just like looking down on her phone and just like trying to pretend like she's looking on her phone, but she's really trying to make me feel afraid. And then after I ended up telling them, like, what happened, she had did it again. I guess, and the weird thing about it too, and we'll do another video, and how I think it was all just like a weird thing, because usually, like, when there's an issue at the job, the managers are supposed to bring both of the people in the same room to have a discussion, to talk about it. The managers never did that with me and that individual. Me and this individual, we never talked. I know, like, I knew what was going on, so that's why I reported it to the supervisor or whatever, and the supervisor dismissed it. But I guess they said something to that person, and I guess the person got mad and kept wanting to do it over, like, kept trying to make me feel afraid, or try to make me, like, stalk me and try to, like, intimidate me, right? But it didn't work regardless. But it's like she just kept doing it, like, every day. Like, I guess that was going to make a difference. And then what's crazy is I know the person watches my YouTube channel, because I remember she kept, so not only did she do that to me at breaks and lunches, right? So when I'm taking calls at the job that I was working at the time, she would get up and walk real to me. And I'm thinking like, why is she walking real close to me? Because like, we weren't friends. So I'm thinking like a friend would, like say hi and see how you doing and come and like talk and stuff like that. We weren't friends, right? And so how I knew she was watching me was the fact that I was like, if you come up again close to me, I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and put a restraining order on you, right? And I was like, I know you're listening and I know you're watching. I know she's probably listening and watching now. And I know she remembers when I had said that next day, she didn't come nowhere near me. And I was like, I know she better stay away, right? Because she was scared with that restraining order, right? So yeah, so that's something that you have to be careful of coworkers that are narcissists. You have to be careful of supervisors, site managers, team leaders. They can be jealous of you, right? They might be envious of you. They may want to sabotage you and undermine your work because maybe they feel like their job is at risk. Maybe they feel like you're trying to come in there and take their job. You get what I'm saying? But meanwhile, you just want to check, to just go ahead and take care of your family. You get what I'm saying? But you have some people that are like that in those type of work environments. So that's something that you have to really be careful about, you guys. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video short. Make sure that you do give this video a like, share, and subscribe. Share your experience below if you feel like you had to deal with workplace bullying or workplace intimidation or harassment. We'll do a video on workplace harassment also, and kind of dig deep into that. And last thing I want to share with you, if you're dealing with this, you guys, don't be afraid to speak up. If there's anything that you learned from this video, don't be afraid to speak up, speak out, share with people what you're dealing with. Don't hold stuff in, because one of the things that I've learned, when you hold stuff in, when you hold in trauma, when you hold in aggression, when you hold in your anger, when you hold in um, you know, all of those different emotions, when people mistreat you, that only harms you. It doesn't harm the narcissist. It doesn't harm toxic people. It doesn't harm no one but you. Speak up, speak out, reach out to someone if you want advice on this particular situation, or you just need someone to talk to about it. Maybe you need some additional questions answered, or maybe you're seeking some sort of validation or some sort of clarity. Don't be afraid. Reach out. It's okay. It's nothing wrong with you. You didn't make a mistake. It's not your fault. You're a victim of the situation, so you want to make sure that you're being supported and you get the help that you need and that you deserve, because you don't deserve that type of treatment at work, or you don't deserve that type of treatment in relationships, whether it's friends, it's family members, even in a romantic situation. You deserve better. Okay, you guys? All right, so I love you so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Again, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye now.